Hello, the doc is in and welcome back to another chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 200, Direct Negotiations. In the last chapter, we have everybody reconvene, we talking to Angel, we got Megami back, we got Takaba hanging out with the gang. Everybody's talking. Itadori's in a robe, drinking wine. It's looking great. Everything's coming together. We got almost 400 points. Everybody's cooperating. Things seem to be working very nicely. And Angel even says she'll help us out. Not evil or nothing. She's going to help us out. Cool. Her only stipulation for helping us out is defeating the Fallen, which is a reincarnated player. I wonder who that is. It's Sukuna. Sukuna says that he's the Fallen. Now, this could be a lie. Sukuna is known to lie about stuff just to be a dickhead. But there may be a good chance that he may be telling the truth. But nonetheless, that's how we end off last chapter. Let's begin this chapter. So the chapter starts off. We got just literally that last frame. That's where we start off. Sukuna reveals he's the Fallen and he kicks Itadori out of his mind palace. And so everybody kind of notices that something's wrong with Itadori. I guess maybe it looked like he zoned out when he was in his head, right? So he's back, and Itadori's like, "Oh, I feel kind of sick." Karusu, which is Angel, can I borrow the couch? So he walks on over to the couch, and Takaba's like, "Oh, you got a stomach ache?" Itadori's like, "Nah." And he stretches weirdly and catches the attention of Megami, and then he starts doing weird arm signs to kind of say to Megami, hey, I'm not I'm the Fallen, but the Fallen's inside me. It's Sukuna. And right, Megami's the only one who really notices. He's like, okay, Itadori's acting weird, because the other two, they don't know him, so they're kind of they're probably not thinking too hard about it. And not only that, but he went to the sofa, which is behind everybody else in terms of the room. So if Takaba's looking at the table where Angel and Megami are talking, he would be the one to see Itadori doing all these weird hand signs, right? So Megami is like, all right. He's like, what is Itadori trying to tell me? He's trying to tell me something, but he's purposely moved himself out of the way so that then Angel wouldn't see him. And so then Itadori's like, yeah, okay, you're getting there, And so then Megami continues using his gigantic brain. He's reading into this. He's like, okay, to break Gojo out, we need the cooperation of Angel. Angel's cooperation is required. Well, requirement for Angel's cooperation is that she has to kill the Fallen. So does that mean Sukuna's the Fallen? And so if Sukuna's the Fallen, then the target is actually Yuji. And so then Megami, after coming to this conclusion, is like, oh shoot, okay. If that's the case, then the new biggest problem isn't just that Sukuna is the Fallen, but it's that Itadori, and then we get a trail off, and then we cut off to Yuji's inner thoughts. And so he's basically like, I don't know why Sukuna wanted me to keep my mouth shut, but nonetheless, it seems that Angel has some way to permanently get rid of Sukuna. And he kind of thinks back to earlier on, back when Sukuna killed or was holding Yuji hostage and everything, and basically said oh yeah, he doesn't have the guts to kill himself. And he's like, well, I don't know if Sukuna's underestimating again and thinking that, oh well, he's not gonna kill himself, so if I tell him that Angel's gonna try to kill him, if she finds out he's the Fallen, he keep his mouth shut, and once again a semi-hostage situation. But Itadori's like, well, we have enough points. Fushiguro can figure everything out on his own. He's a genius or whatever. Everybody can put in the rules. I'll gladly die, get rid of most of Sukuna and everything, and bring Gojo back and solve this whole situation by killing myself. And he's like, this is a perfect deal. And Megami's like, yeah, Itadori is totally willing to sacrifice himself, which is kind of not what we're trying to have done here. So it's kind of conflict of interest. Itadori would kill himself right here, right now. He would open his mouth. He'd be like, Angel, Sukuna's inside me. He's the Fallen. You can just kill me and help my boy Megami out. And Megami's like, I kind of want Itadori to kill himself. He's kind of a good guy. But that's that, right? We then have Angel saying, how odd. Now, in the spoilers, it was kind of set up that it was maybe she kind of picked up on what they're thinking about or something. But no, she's actually referencing something else, which is that apparently a bunch of people entered the colony they're currently in. And they asked the Kogane, Angel asked the Kogane to kind of show up and like, show them how many people just entered like 10 minutes ago. And they're looking at the number and it's fucking 807 people, which is a lot of people to be entering the colony, especially since you're not supposed to be able to go between colonies. Like, they're doing a lot of work to get people the ability to go between colonies. So that means a lot of people just now went up to that particular colony, if not the other ones as well, and then entered it, which is interesting. Cut away, February 2018. I believe this is in the past. I forget exactly what date we're at in terms of time-wise, but I think it was in the past. Kenjaku talking to what is the president and his cabinet or whatever, right? He's talking to the president. He's basically explaining like, okay, this is what cursed energy is. This is what cursed spirits are. This is what Jujutsu sorcerers are, and whatever. And so he's like, hey, this is like a Japanese thing, but other places can get cursed energy / Jujutsu sorcerers as well. And so then they're basically like, most people can see cursed spirits, but there are certain ways you can do it. We can give you these glasses to allow you to see or whatever. We got this one guy, I think low-key being like, Orame kind of bad though, in which Orame has not been confirmed to be a guy or a gal. So I don't know. He might be going for a trap, but we ain't gonna get into all that, right? So from there, they're basically Kenjaku's basically explaining like, hey, if you want to see cursed spirits is a situation, you put on these glasses, it'll allow you to see what you normally can't see. And so immediately, I guess Kenjaku like low-key put not pressure, but he had like cursed spirits like roaming around, like these centipede spirits. And so obviously please put on these glasses, like, holy shit, what the fuck is this shit on the floor? Me personally, if I would have seen bugs, it would have been all hell breaks loose. Nuke the building. Not even gonna lie, because those things are huge too. But anyway, we got I don't know, maybe the vice president. It's a black lady. Well, first off, let's go black people. But also, I don't know. But we got her and the president reacting, and they're like, is this VR, AR, or whatever? They're trying to like explain it or whatever. And we got the energy guy. All right, this guy's a fucking asshole. I don't like him because people in real life are like this, and they'd be this dumb. So this guy's like, hey, Mr. President. Right, he's the energy guy. That's all we need to know. He's like, oh, Mr. President, you gotta calm down. So he's looking at the glasses. He's like, okay, if I move the glasses over, you can see centipedes or whatever. And he's like, this is a gold mine. This is a form of energy we could use. And Orame gets rid of the centipedes and like ices them out or whatever, right? And so the president and the other lady, they sit down, and so they get like a re-explanation. It's like, hey, I'll show you images of what sorcerers can do, because sorcerers can also create things with cursed energy and whatever. And so I guess he shows them like a video of something. We aren't quite sure what exactly he shows them, but we see Todo, we see Nanami, we see Gojo, and we see Sukuna. Now, the other three, you could argue, okay, they didn't really do nothing for real, because Todo, I don't think we ever really saw him we didn't see him kill anybody. Saw him beat up some dudes, but those are all Jujutsu sources. Nanami, Gojo, not really. Sukuna, absolutely, literally a genocidal mass murderer. So no matter what they showed him, as soon as they got the Sukuna part, that shit's a little crazy, right? And so whatever they saw, the president, the black lady, I assume she's vice president. That's what I'm kind of getting from this. Whatever they saw, they were like, oh, it's like a movie or something. This is pretty cool. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about all that, but okay. So, right, the energy guy, he's like, this is just a new form of energy. And he's talking about other forms of energy. He's like, this is the cleanest form of energy we could use. That white-haired guy, he really make a good battery. He could even empower the whole country by himself. And the president's like, that's kind of unprecedented, crazy amounts of energy that apparently can be produced. And so the energy guy, he's like, yeah, we need to seize all these Jujutsu sorcerers or whatever and research them right away. And I'm like, are we not processing that these are people? But let's not get into that, all right? Maybe Geto was right, but let's put that aside. So, right, Kenjaku mentions, he's like, oh, in November, Tokyo will come to a standstill, and what is essentially an extraordinary ground, Jujutsu swords will gather for a ritual, which basically means talking about the Culling games. That's what I'm assuming he's talking about, which is not true literally. Like, there's definitely more to that, obviously, but nonetheless. And so basically, Kenjaku makes a proposition to the president. President's out there like, hold on, you can't be serious. Are you saying that we should kidnap Japanese civilians as samples for experiments using my authority? Now, that's the end of the chapter. And let me just say, that's a very interesting closing. All right. Also, no break next week. Where this could go is a lot of directions, because immediately my first thought was that, oh, well, he's going to give the Japanese people to Kenjaku, and Kenjaku's going to put them in the Culling game, give them curse energy, whatever, add more players, right? But Kenjaku has been trying to make cursed wombs or whatever, right? Create a being that's both cursed, a cursed spirit and human or whatever, right? What if he wants the president to give him a whole bunch of people so that then he can run these experiments? Or maybe, like, you know, during the break period where between February and November, he's been doing these experiments on these people. He's created 807 or 806 different cursed spirit hybrids, or maybe reincarnated more sorcerers or something, right? It's definitely there's a correlation between what the president is being asked at the end of the chapter and midway through the chapter, where we find out that a whole bunch of new players have been added to that one colony suddenly. There's definitely some type of correlation to that. So that, like I said, that's a lot of speculation. Really, we can't say exactly what he's going to do because we don't really get a hint of what he's going to do. Obviously, we know he's using the fact that, oh, Jujutsu cursed energy is like energy or whatever. You use that. He's kind of using, it seems like, the energy guy as a way to like kind of leverage in the direction of the president, because energy guy knows the president, and so the energy guy says it's good. The president has to consider, like, okay, he's saying it's good, even though I don't really get this stuff. If he's saying it's good, there might be something to this. And so I think that's where we're heading. Like, he does end up giving Kenjaku all the Japanese civilians. What he does with them, it seems like probably is heading in the direction of he sends them into colonies. Now, what state they'll be in, whether they'll be old sorcerers, just have new curse techniques, whatever, is up in the air, which is what we'll probably find out maybe next chapter or the chapter after that. But that's all on that front. Now, earlier on the chapter, we have Megumi, Itadori, and Sukuna. It's an interesting dynamic we have going on here, because Itadori doesn't tell Angel, obviously. He wants to tell Megumi first, probably, to discuss it with him. But Megumi brings up a good point, which is that Itadori would totally sacrifice himself for this goal. And even if he spoke to Megumi and Megumi was like, hey, I don't think you should do that, he'd be like, hey, you know, if we're trying to get Gojo back, the whole plan was to get Gojo back, and the only stipulation is just kill the player who has Sukuna reincarnated. I can just kill myself and it'd be mad easy. Now, there's obviously the third perspective, which is that Megumi doesn't want Itadori to die. Itadori is perfectly fine with dying for the cause. And then there's Sukuna. Sukuna tells Itadori this. Now, there is stipulation, there is the point of like, oh, maybe Sukuna feels like, hey, it could be dangerous to let everybody know that he's the fallen. Or maybe there's a little bit of manipulation going on, a little bit of, I guess you could say, a little bit of coercion, maybe plays being made, 4D chess movements being made, where Sukuna is banking on the fact that Itadori will opt to kill himself, or at least won't immediately reveal it if Sukuna says that he's the fallen, and therefore trying to get by this time by not having it revealed immediately that he's Sukuna. Because obviously, once it's revealed, there is a certain amount of like, hey, Sukuna's broken as shit. Alright, he's top of the verse for the most part. 15 fingers. Maybe he's not like top, but he's close enough, right? He could probably wipe the floor with everybody who's in that room right now if he really wanted to. But he can only come out using the belt, like with the deal he made on a stipulation that kill anybody or harm anybody for that matter. So he might be trying to play a little bit of levels to this, because obviously Angel has the ability to negate curse techniques. There might be something to the idea that maybe Sukuna can be like insta defeated, if not permanently gotten rid of by Angel, whatever way that is. So like I said, there's a lot of ways you can think about it. There's a lot of different reasons or directions you can give as to why Sukuna would say, you know, I'm the Fallen, don't drop the soap and reveal all the information right now, all right? Just chill out. There could be a number of ways this could go, and it does definitely seem like Megumi is probably gonna turn Itadori in the direction of not telling anybody that information, and Angel may not fully be aware that the Fallen is Sukuna, or maybe not aware of maybe how infamous Sukuna is, because obviously Angel's aware of Sukuna, and that probably means they have some type of relation, but Angel died. So Angel might not know Sukuna in the sense that when he was at his peak. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like I said, there's a lot of directions this could go. And there's something to be said for the idea of like, can Angel actually get rid of Sukuna? Does Angel even understand that Sukuna is a different beast and a different animal at the same time? Like, you know, there's a lot of things to think about. But that's about it for this chapter. With that all being said, leave a like if you like, leave a dislike if you dislike, comment, what do you think Sukuna's plan is? Do you think the people who have joined the colony are the Japanese citizens from America? Are they going to be cursed spirits / cursed humans? Are they just going to have their techniques unlocked? Is it going to be a combination of a bunch of things? Are they going to be reincarnated sorcerers? Leave those in the comments. Thank you for watching all the way to this point, or skipping to this point if you felt like it. Feel free to subscribe, ring the notification bell if you want to see videos like these every time there's a new chapter. Feel free to, you know, check my catalog, you know, all those things. And with that all being said, thank you for watching the video once again, and the doc is out. Peace.